So 3 questions for you, Dr. Vivian. How was the meeting with the Malaysian Foreign Minister? What are some possible SOPs that will be in place for cross-border travel? And could you give an update on the daily commuting arrangements? And secondly, the cabinet reshuffle happened yesterday.
Okay, let's deal with that later.
Okay,
let's. First, I had an excellent meeting with Foreign Minister Hishammuddin, whom I've known for, in fact, 2 decades. So this is our first in-person meeting, although of course we had to take the precautions. He was on his side of the border, I was on the Singapore side of the border, maintain appropriate distance and all the precautions. But it was good to be able to meet up with an old friend directly. I'm also pleased to report that we have both sides have settled the arrangements for the reciprocal green lane, as well as for what we call the periodic commuting arrangement. So all the details have been settled. Applications will open on the 10th of August. In the next few days, we will publish the operational details. Without getting to details, I would say that this basically enables business travel to resume with appropriate precautions, as well as the needs of both Singaporeans and Malaysians who have long-term employment passes, work passes, respectively, to be able to work for a period of up to 3 months and then go back for home leave. So I believe these arrangements will be essential as both of us continue to reboot, restart, and to increase the pace of our economic activities. So this is a significant agreement, and as you look across at the background, this is the most unusual picture to see an empty causeway. This, in fact, has been in the past the world's busiest land crossing. We're not ready to go back to that pace yet, but nevertheless, we do want to make a start, and we want to do so in a way which protects public health. We believe it can be done, and with all the precautions and all the arrangements that has been made, we will get there.
Could you give more details on what the daily commuting arrangements are?
That's the next point. So at this point, the reciprocal green lane and the periodic commuting arrangement does not provide for daily travelers. We're not ready for that yet. I would say give us a couple of weeks to monitor the figures both in Malaysia, in particular Johor, and in Singapore. And as we gain greater confidence that the control of the pandemic is well executed in both places, we can then begin the discussions for how we can allow daily commuting. But you must bear in mind that even with a daily commuting model, there'll be a need for regular comprehensive testing on both sides. So the other parameter is also the availability of mass scale testing on both sides of the causeway. So there are quite a few more operational details that will need to be sorted out before we can get back to the daily commuting model. There's one more category which I have great sympathy for, and that is for compassionate reasons. You know, there are Malaysians and Singaporeans are related by blood, and you know, the last few months, you know, I've received so many desperate pleas. My parent or my grandparent is in hospital or is in ICU, or sometimes worse, has passed away, and they want so desperately to see their own, to bid a final farewell. This is the other category on a much smaller scale, of course, but which I have great sympathy for, and we're trying to work out arrangements. So this is nothing to do with business, nothing to do with diplomacy. It's really just human nature.